Today I'm going to show you how to fill out the ATF Form 1s. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to go head over to the ATF eForms website. If you can't find that, then you're kind of hopeless. Log in. Okay, so down here you can see all after you submit or maybe you have a draft, you can look for it. So usually I'll just go you can hit draft and then search form 1, and then so if you don't finish in one day, you can go find it like this. So we're going to go do the form 1 is for making a suppressor, or if you want to convert a regular rifle into a short barrel rifle, or an AR pistol into a short barrel rifle. Anyway, it's going to be a form 1. For here, individual, trust, corporation, other legal entity. So you're really going to be doing individual or trust. Now, an individual is slightly easier. I'm going to be showing you how to do this for a trust. So the biggest difference for filing a trust is you're going to have to provide documentation of the existence of the trust or that legal entity, and then you're going to have to fill out a responsible persons questionnaire for every single person on the trust. Just know that every person you add to the trust, it comes with convenience, but it also comes with inconvenience every time you go to add something to it. So we're going to go to the next. Now this part is a little bit tricky because you see this tax paid submitted $200 in the application by credit card or whatever. And this is tax exempt, and you know it went to 0, but then there's this or, so it says tax payment of $0 for other types of firearms. Anyway, so you will not get charged for this. You don't have to enter your credit card. You're just going to go ahead and check that box and hit next. Okay, so here, trust name. This is, we're going to put trustee, because you're a trustee within the trust, and then you put your trust name. This is going to be whatever is on your trust documentation. So Joe Smo's Trust, whatever. Your trust name. Okay, now I'm not going to show you all this stuff. I've blurred it out, but this is going to be your country, your address, your zip code, city, and all that stuff. I've blurred out because it's actually linked to your account, so it's going to autofill all of that information out. Okay, so now this is where you're going to add responsible people. So you can see that I'm listed here as a trustee, along with some information there, and then you just add responsible person, and you're just going to fill out all the responsible people. Now, currently, I am the only one on my trust, so it's normal here, but if you needed to add a responsible person, you could there. CLEO stands for Chief Law Enforcement Officer. Now, you can send this to really any Chief Law Enforcement Officer that it has jurisdiction in your area. So oftentimes I've seen like Silence Essential, they'll send it to the state Chief Law Enforcement Officer. I usually go find my local Chief Law Enforcement Officer. So my local Chief of Police or the county sheriff if you're in a rural area. So go find this agency or department name. Okay, to show you how easy this is, I just picked this random town in New Mexico, Roswell, New Mexico. And I just Googled Roswell, New Mexico Chief of Police, and it told me his name. And now I want to, don't totally trust the AI overview. You need to verify that. So you can see the first link here is their directory. And this is just a random example. I literally just pulled up Google Maps, went to a random state, found a moderately decently sized town, whatever. And so this is the police chief. Great, cool. Look, I have his name, I have his email. We're good to go. Okay, please enter your information. Do not enter this information. I'm showing you this is my random example from Roswell, New Mexico. So, Roswell Police Department. I put the chief of police's name. There's his title is chief of police. This is the address from the website, zip code, and then it lets you pick your city, Roswell, county. That's the county, state, New Mexico, right there. That's the zip code, all from the website. So great. Again, put your information in there. Do not put this, or else it will totally get denied. We're gonna go here, add firearm. Okay, so manufacturer name marked on the firearm. So this is just a Form 1 registration. So you're gonna put, notice it gives you a ton of different things on here. So Form 1 registration. Verify. Successfully verified. So that now this is just telling them that you're making this via a Form 1. Manufacturer country. So obviously you're making this in the United States. Okay, if you are doing this for a short barrel rifle, this is something that you're going to put the name of the original manufacturer. So if you're making a regular rifle into a short barrel rifle, just put the name of the manufacturer on your low receiver. Okay, so here, select product type. We're going to do silencer. Okay, so notice here it says pictures of the parts that you will use to make the silencer. Clear, allow to identify a description of the process that you're going to use, the product model or kit name, if any, and the source of where you're planning on getting these. So, like if you're buying this thing from a website or whatever, you need to put that there as well. And this is where, like I said earlier, do not lie about any of this stuff. Be straight up. I didn't know if they would approve mine because I was totally honest with them, did not hide a thing, put pictures of the exact thing I was planning to get it from. Anyway, so we're going to do that. Model, honestly, usually I'm just going to put NA here because you don't have a specific model unless you make a ton of these. Caliber, this is where you're going to put your the caliber. I did mine for like 22 long rifle or whatever like that. And if you are doing a DIY or 3D printed suppressor, this is you're probably going to start with 22 because or else you might blow the dang thing up. Okay. Units of measurement. This is a caliber. This is if you did like gauge or something like that. Anyway. Okay, overall length. So you need to kind of have an idea of what you're going to do or a design in mind because you need to put this, and it does need to match. So let's just go 6 inches and then a serial number. Now, this is a serial number that you are going to just make up. It doesn't really matter what it is. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. You could do the Larkins layer 001 or whatever. It does not matter. You could do something political or something in here if you wanted to do that as well. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to do can that it doesn't like dashes actually 001. Great, cool, awesome. Description. Now this is where you're going to put the description. So something like this. So 6 inches long, 1 inch in diameter. You're going to do 1/2 by 28 threads. You could put like the number of baffles in here, or if you're doing like a monocore design or a 3D printed something, put a decent description. I could have put the materials. This is actually the description that I put on mine that I did, and they approved it. Okay, why you want to make it for all lawful purposes? Don't change that. Yeah. Okay, it even says down here, if no mod, you can put NA. There's a little bit more information down here. And then you can save this as a new template, and then you saw before, you can select it again. Unless you're going to make a bunch of these, I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so next. Okay, so now we're going to do pictures of the parts that we intend to use. So I'll put up a picture of what my final document list looked like for what I put up there. And unfortunately, I cannot show you these pictures because YouTube may get mad at me because it might be just too much information for them, and they might think I'm trying to teach you how to actually make a suppressor and not just fill out the documentation. So I can't show you any of those pictures. But if you have a website in mind or something, and I can't even show you websites, honestly, you go ahead and put the pictures of the item you intend to purchase in here. Okay, this is one of the most important pages, and I will show you what my finished one looked like. In fact, I'll put it up here. Okay, so notice here, it gives you an option to select a document type here. And I can't show you this because this is my finished one, so I'll start here. So you can select a document type, and there's not a ton of document types. So there's like a proof of FFL, a photograph, and then corporation, trust, or legal entity. Now, if you're doing it for the trust, the only ones you're really going to need are a corporation for trust and a photograph. If you do have like schematics or a CAD or something like that, it wouldn't ever hurt to put something like that in here as well. Okay, so here's you can see what I did. So here's this responsible person questionnaire. I will do a separate video on how to fill that out. Here's a picture. I can do more information on that if y'all like. I have a video on this for how to get an EFT, so an electronic fingerprints transfer file. Oh, well, it looks like I duplicated some documents, so you only need one of those. I don't know why there's 3. It was probably giving me lots of, and here's a declaration of the trust. And then here's this Form 1 cover letter. Because some of these things are relatively involved, I'm not going to show you how to do every single one of these here. I have a different video that goes over the whole process of doing the paperwork for a Form 1 and all of its supporting documents, and I have links to different videos that show you how to do all this here. So I'm not going to show you any of that here, but here's an example of the documents you need. Okay, now this last page, I can't show you hardly a dang thing. It just goes over all of your information, and because it takes some of my personal information from the actual my login information, I'm not going to show you that because it really shows a lot of information here. So, and then you're going to go to the next page. Okay, there's another checkbox here saying under penalties of perjury, I support a submission. A completed copy of this form will be directed to the chief law enforcement officer. And so in your Form 1, you can hit it. You can see a PDF of your completed form here. If you scroll down, there's almost a duplicated form, and it says chief law enforcement officer copy. So you need to send that part of the Form 1. In addition to the responsible persons questionnaire, a copy of that to the chief law enforcement officer. Email's good enough. You can mail it to them. You can show up in person to the police department if you really want it. Anyway, so you're going to... Okay, now it's not going to let me do this last step, pay and sign and submit, because it's like, yo, you missing things, because I didn't actually upload all those to this form. But normally you wouldn't have to pay, and then you just sign and submit, and then it submits, and then you have to wait. In my case, I submitted mine at the end of March, and it was approved middle of March, and it was approved at the end of May. So it took about 2.5 months. Okay, guys, so that is really it. Other than getting all that information on the actual firearm manufacturer and that information, and then filling out and getting all your documents uploaded, it really is a relatively straightforward process. And check out all my other videos if you have questions on those other documents and getting them figured out. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any other questions, comments, or jokes, insults, or whatever, please put in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.